Hey everyone, Kevin Lewis with Home Life Benchmark Titus Realty, and it's time for your November 2023 Fraser Valley Real Estate Market Update. If you've been following the real estate market at all lately, you know things have been on the slower side of things, mostly due to the fact that interest rates have continued to rise since March 2022. We saw rates stop rising in January 2023, and then we immediately saw prices start to climb up. However, we did see interest rates go up again in June and July of this year, which did cause the market to slow right down, and we saw prices actually come back down on the other side of things. Since that time, we've actually had two rate holds, which means that two announcements from the Bank of Canada, rates did not go up. Back in January, we saw prices go up. However, now we've continued to see prices drop despite the fact that rates have held. This is likely due to the fact that back in January, a lot of buyers probably speculated that the rates were going to be where they were. The fact that they had held as long as, or started holding, they had gone up as much as they had. A lot of speculation was just the fact that the bank was not going to raise the rate any further. However, June and July's announcements obviously played contrary to the belief of many buyers. So with the fact that we now know that rates still could go up, it seems as if the average buyer is still pumping the brakes and holding off on making a purchase. As I've mentioned several times, once rates eventually do start to go back down, we will see a buying frenzy. There's no question about it. And prices, unfortunately, are going to go up unless every person owns a home decides to sell and upgrade to the next level and inventory numbers are able to sustain. So despite the fact that we've had two rate announcements now where we have seen prices continue to drop, it may be a little premature to say that the second rate announcement where things were held steady just on October 25th, it's a little too soon to say that things have not changed because of that announcement, as we really only have 6 days since that announcement came that we're looking at the stats, as the stats come out once per month. With just 856 sales in the month of October 2023, we saw a 13% decrease month to month compared to September 2023. However, we did see a 6% increase compared to October 2022. We do have to recognize, of course, that October 2022 was an extremely slow month, and that was right in the middle or near the end of the constant rate increases that we were seeing through 2022. And again, if you've been following what the real estate market has been doing as of late, 2022 was also quite a slow year. And we did see prices decline right from March all the way to January until rates started to hold again. So we should recognize that it is a positive fact that we've seen more sales in October 2023 than October 2022. We do also have to recognize that that is 36% fewer sales for October 2023 than the 10-year average for the month of October. Of course, besides sales numbers, new listings is a very important number. And on October 2023, we saw 2,137 new listings hit the market. This is 11% fewer new listings than we saw in September 2023, which is pretty common to see fewer new listings in October than in September, as that's just the way the market always works. As we get closer to the holidays, fewer people are ready to sell their home at that point in time. We did, however, see a 20% increase compared to October 2022, which again, we have just touched on. October 2022 was an extremely slow year for real estate, but we were 7% above the 10-year average for the month of October as far as new listings go, looking back for the 10-year average. Now, despite the total number of sales being lower than the 10-year average and the total number of new listings being higher than the 10-year average, we did continue to see total active listings drop. Now, this really doesn't make sense if those are the only two metrics we look at, but we also have to recognize that there's a third option that homes on the market do, and that's they'll either expire or the seller simply decides not to sell any longer. 1,400 homes in October 2023 fell into that last category. That's a lot of homes not selling and coming off the market altogether, which we can potentially come to the conclusion that sellers are hesitant to sell in the current market. As we've seen rates hold, however, prices have continued to drop. Sellers are likely waiting for the interest rates to either hold a little longer and buyers' confidence to be gained back and prices to stabilize and or go up, or the sellers are waiting for price or interest rates to drop, which we all know is going to cause prices to increase unless all of the sellers come out at once, which history tells us that's not very likely to happen. As far as what you should do in today's real estate market, if you're thinking of making a move in the near future, it's really not a bad time to make a move. Despite the fact that not a lot of people are making a move right now, doesn't necessarily mean it's bad if you're able to do so. Of course, if you're just buying into the market or you're upgrading your property to a more expensive home, as soon as interest rates do go up, those prices are also going to go, or sorry, as soon as interest rates go down, those prices will go up. So if you can afford that home today, you're likely to build quite a bit of equity by paying a little bit more per month currently in your rates and going with a shorter fixed term mortgage. Once the rates do come down and you renew your mortgage, your home's going to be worth potentially several $100,000 more than what you purchased it for. And your monthly payments, if you stay in that home, are likely going to go down when you renew your mortgage in a couple of years. That sounds like a pretty win-win situation if you're able to withhold the higher rates for who knows how long, potentially 6 months or maybe 4 or 5 years. We just don't know. And as I've been saying, if you're selling and or downsizing right now, I would make that decision based on your lifestyle a little bit more than the market. If you want to sell your home, but you don't have to, or you want to sell an investment property, but you don't have to at this point, I would say that it's better out to stick it out until the rates do come down. Again, we don't know how long that's going to be until the rates do come down. So as long as you have a comfort level that you can see the rates continue to hold for a year or two or three and continue to make the payments, even if interest rates do bump up a little bit, you will put yourself in a better position by waiting it out and selling in the near future, or selling once the interest rates do come down and prices do go up. Because of course, when you're selling, interest rates really don't matter because you're not providing a mortgage for anybody and you want to get the top dollar for the sale of your home. If, however, the interest rates have pushed you to the point where you're struggling to make payments on your home, then it comes a question of how long can you hold off? Again, we don't know when rates are going to come down, and we don't know even if rates may go up more. If that's the case, we know what the situation right now is. We know if we price a home appropriately, it will sell. It'll take a little longer than it has over the last few years, but these last few years have been a bit of an anomaly in our market altogether in the grand scheme of things. So if you can have some patience and we list your home at the right price and we negotiate with the buyers, we can still get good terms for the sale of your home, and we can make a move happen for you that's going to make it ease the struggle of the current interest rate situation. And we know what's happening now, and we know what happened in the last little history. But again, we don't have a crystal ball to see what's coming in the future. Overall, things are looking pretty good, and I'm fairly optimistic about the market. Of course, prices are what prices are, and they are completely unreasonable. We all know going back that that's a simple supply and demand issue. We simply do not have enough homes in the Fraser Valley, or Canada for that matter, to house the number of people that we have that are ready to buy a home and move their family into their own single family home, townhouse, or apartment. Even rentals are tight, and that simply comes down to construction numbers and building more homes. That's certainly not going to happen overnight. And that squeeze is the main reason why I say as soon as interest rates do come down, prices will go up because the demand is there. The demand is just being stymied currently by affordability and the inability to get a mortgage for the price of the home that people want to buy into. So once that becomes easier to borrow that money again, we can be sure that those people are going to buy back into the market. So like I say, market is fairly healthy right now. I do think that things are going to come and the market will pick up again, making buying and selling more options available to everybody. So if you're thinking of making a move in the near future, everything I said just now is fairly boilerplate and applies to everybody in a very broad spectrum. And of course, I can't make a newsletter unique to every potential situation. Your situation is going to be unique to you. So reach out today. Let me know what you're thinking of doing in the near future. Let me know your concerns, and we can start making a plan so that once you are ready to make that move happen, we can do it with as little stress as possible and get you into your new home as smoothly as we can.